My lives is always the same thing. Ask me anything dog related, uh, dog behavior, dog training, dog health, dog nutrition, holistic pet care, anything pit bull related, anything rescue related. There's no question that's off limits. But I am going to start off by talking about a topic regarding spoiling. Stop treating our dogs like babies. That was the crux of. Yes, I figured you were in Jersey. My dog eats frozen pasta in the summertime for a snack. Oh God. So welcome, Kurt. So Lady Green Eyes, just so you know, it's 8:30 and I'm an old man. I'm gonna turn into a pumpkin soon, so I have to save my brain cells for whatever comes out of my mouth over the next course of time on this live. Welcome, Hillary. Okay, so the purpose of this, I posted a video earlier. It was kind of a goofy video of me saying, stop spoiling our pets, stop spoiling your dogs, or stop babying your dogs, rather. And then the next video, I was cradling Deuce like a baby. And Gen XT, he chimed in, or she, I apologize, I'm not sure, um, was asking you a serious question. How much spoiling can you really do? Can you get away with without making the dogs untrainable? And I kind of, hi Amanda, I kind of deciphered that, interpreted that as, does spoiling have negative behavioral consequences? And the answer is, the straight answer and the simple answer is yes. Spoiling our dogs can have negative behavioral consequences. However, there is a way we can spoil them where it helps us offer some structure while we're interacting with or spoiling them and things like that. So, and offer some structure while we're interacting with or spoiling them and things like that. So, and like when I did a little goofy video with Deuce, like he's 12 years old, he has cancer. His prognosis it was 3 years ago, and the prognosis for MCT was a year. That was 3 years ago. So he's doing really well, and it was only recently that I had to switch to more conventional pharmaceuticals. Like he's on a prednisone regimen now. Welcome, Pyramid. But the first couple of years it was all holistic. But at some point we have to rely on medicine to do its job. So that's kind of where Deuce is at. And I'll be honest, anyone who knows me knows that I'm a pretty strict. I run a strict, tight ship here, especially with the dogs, especially when we adopt a dog and bring in a new pit bull or other dog or whatever. Uh, when my guys get old, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I turn into a mush because I know their time with us is short. I don't challenge them as much. They get a lot more free stuff. And that's kind of why I wanted to talk about this because yeah, I joke around. Deuce could get away with murder now. Like like he's got me wrapped around his little paw, and I don't care. He did a lot in his life. He was a really good ambassador for his breed. We did a lot of public events with him to educate people. Welcome, Shannon. Like he did a lot of stuff in his life, greater than himself. And the last couple of years, I slacked off because what am I going to do? I'm going to bust his chops and make him work for every little thing, And again, I thought he was going to be dead by now, but he's not. He's doing okay. So yeah, I admittedly he's spoiled, and I baby him sometimes. It doesn't mean like I don't reprimand him if I have to, and it doesn't mean that I don't work him still a little bit here and there. I do, but he's 12, trying to let him live his life out in peace. So that's why talking to Gen XT through the comments section of that video was asking about babying our pets and behavioral ramifications. So again, the answer is yes. If we spoil our dogs, and if our dogs are initiating things, if our dogs are demanding attention and it works for them, if our dogs are nudging our hands and initiating play and, scratching the back door to go out, like if they're doing all these things and we're catering to them, then you have to ask yourself, who's training who? Who's the leader? Who's the follower? And I know the word leader is poo-pooed upon by the younger generation of trainers. I'm doing this a long time. And being a good, consistent leader promotes a good, healthy pack. It's that simple. I can tell you, I've been doing it a long time. I am not a lucky person by nature, so I know it works. If I was just one of these lucky people, then, great. Welcome, TMNT. God, I miss my Golden died at 16 and spoiled the neighbor. I'm so sorry for your loss. It sucks when they go. Um, but yeah, like if your dog is dictating every single interaction and you're spoiling them, you know, if you have one dog and let's just say it's like a happy-go-lucky mutt and you have no behavior issues and you're okay living that way, that's fine. Most of the people that come my way from a training standpoint, their dogs have some issues that we're working on, anywhere from minor behavioral problems to outright human aggression and bite history, right? So I tend to lean more towards the strict side as it relates to structure in the household, particularly between human and dogs, right? When you have a multi-dog household, in my opinion, it's even more important to be a good leader and provide consistent structure every single day. And that's where we get into babying and spoiling our dogs. Welcome. Uh, I'm sorry, I can't read it. Bickrish. I'm not sure. I apologize. Um, that's where we get into the approach of what I call resource control. Some people refer to it as nothing in life is for free. I don't know when that term came about. I'm probably dating myself by using the terminology resource control because it's decades old. But that's what I call it. And Becca, I have two 6-month-old labradoodles trying to work on getting them to stop jumping. Okay, hit me up in a minute. Chime in again, Becca, so I don't forget about that. I'll try my best. Um, Dog is 14, bad back legs. I will let her tell me where to walk, but if the weather is bad, yeah, that's the same thing with me. Like, they're old. What are we gonna do? Bust their chops? Anyway, so what resource control is? This is how we can give our dogs all the things you want to do and you want to spoil your dogs with. We do that by implementing a resource control protocol. And again, some people call it nothing in life is for free. What that means is that whatever, if the dog doesn't do something, they don't get it, whatever it is. What I mean by that is what it is: food, treats, affection, playtime, jumping on furniture if they're allowed, which is totally cool. Putting the collar on and a leash on to go for a walk before you open that door, whether you go out the front door on a walk or if you go out the back door, let them in the yard. They have to earn and their privileges, right? Or did have a food thing? Guess that happens pretty. Yeah, it happens. Anyway, yeah. So you want them earning everything by performing either an obedience command or a task. It could be a cute trick or a simple sit. A lot of people do this and they don't even know that they're doing it. They're just not doing it with everything. And when I mean everything, every single interaction is an opportunity to get your dog working for you. And in my opinion, either your dog is working for you or you're working for your dog, right? And now, granted, this household, they just have happy-go-lucky dogs. They don't have to do anything, and there's no problems at all. But most of the people that come my way, there's some kind of imbalance in the household, whether they have a single dog household, a multi-dog household, or an interspecies household, right? So, um, that's kind of my approach to this. So, and again, a lot of people are doing this. Like before they put the food bowl down, they make their dog sit. That's resource control. A lot of people are taught to teach sit before they put the leash and collar on, so the dog is behaving properly. But that's also resource control. They know what the leash is. They know that they're getting something super awesome, but they got to earn it. They have to perform. And the rule of thumb is if you're unsure as to whether or not something is a resource, you make them earn it. It's that simple. You're going to know what's of high value resource to your dogs because, if it's something that's, maybe it's not their favorite toy and you make them sit, they're going to be like, okay, I'll sit for it. If it's their favorite toy, they're going to sit and they're going to be attentive, right? So you can play around with the higher valued resources as well. Thank you for the gift. I guess I got a gift. I apologize for anyone who's new here on my lives. I know nothing about lives and all these gifts and likes. I'm supposed to ask you guys to hit the like button, share, and all that stuff. I'm just here to provide information. I do appreciate that stuff. I have no idea what it does for my TikTok, but thank you. So if I miss thanking someone, it's not on purpose. I do apologize. Um, Becca, I never thought to make, yeah, especially feeding. Feeding is the number one resource to a dog, right? That's survival. They should be earning that resource. And again, food, treats, affection, playtime, furniture, going in and out, all that stuff they have to earn. Basically, they should be earning everything from you. Every interaction should be an earned interaction. And the best thing about that is it makes training an all day, everyday part of life. That's how your life is. And I mean, like, Deuce, everybody here, Deuce, Sable, Gordy, JoJo, Gunner, they're all old. Gunner's the youngest, I think, at 10, or Gordy's 9, maybe. They're all old. They've been doing this for years now. Like, we don't even have to say stuff. I don't have to tell them to sit anymore before feeding. They just know. I don't have to sit. I don't have to tell them to do anything before I engage in play. They just know. I'll be, if I slack anywhere, it's letting them out the back door to go pee pee and poopy. I might not do that much, but when a dog first gets to me, I'm very strict, and they do. They do earn all that stuff. And again, the beautiful thing about it is it makes training an all day, everyday part of life. And while it's good that the dog works for us all the time, I usually tell people to implement resource control more so for the humans. Welcome, Sasha, because then it makes on in your mind it's going to become a habit, right? And when I tell you it's there's such reciprocity there, it becomes a partnership. Even though in our minds we're implementing resource control to make our dogs work for us, it's a partnership. We are spoiling them. They just got to do something. It's that simple. I'm also a big believer going back to babying our dogs and what breeds do you have? One, two, well, three pit bulls, a large hound, and JoJo's our old man. He's like 15, 16. He's a pit bull Rottweiler Shar mix, but he's not big. He's like 55 pounds. And then I have various other rescue dogs here that I'm training, mostly pit bulls. Got a couple of huskies. One husky now, at any rate. And then I have 5 parrots too, and we have 20 chickens. So that's about it. But yeah, so resource control is good for it is for humans to have good habits too. That we're always working our dogs. That doesn't mean we shouldn't set time aside for training sessions. That's always a good thing to do on a daily basis if possible. Especially if you have a new dog or you're trying to advance their reliability, whether it's behavior or obedience. We do want to have training sessions with our dogs every day, but resource control makes training an all day, everyday thing anyway. So what I tell people, and this is the best way to describe what resource control does for you and your dog, right? So you don't have to literally raise your hands, but how many of you brushed your teeth this morning, right? Hopefully we all brushed our teeth this morning, right? How many thought about it? We don't. I mean, I drink my coffee, brush my teeth. I didn't think about either. It's just the habit. It's my habit, right? And I'm very habitual anyway. Both it goes good and bad. Oh, hey, missing link, welcome. Uh, so resource control is we want it to be a habit for us and our dogs, and that's how we can get away with spoiling and babying our dogs as long as they earn it. As long as they're earning their keep, right? Love on them, spoil them. There's a couple of nuances to it, like play, for instance. I am a huge proponent of leaders initiate. And again, I use the L word. I know that that's the scary word for some of the younger generation dog trainers. You can't say leadership. You can't say dogs are pack animals, even though they are social mammals. Like there's some words that just trigger the younger generation. I don't care. I'm here to help people. I'm not here to make people feel good. Helping people is going to make you feel good though, because you're going to have a better relationship with your dog. So that's all I really care about. So I'm big into leadership and play, for instance. How many of you have a dog that brings you a toy? What does your daily training look like? What do you work on? Okay, yeah, just let me finish my thought. Missing link, and I'll get back to that. Actually, I'll probably talk about the homework I usually give people, which is basically what I do with my dogs, particularly when we first adopt them, they first come in that house. We're pretty strict with it. So, how many people out there? If you have a dog that brings you a toy, do you play with them? Dog brings you toy, you take the toy and engage. Who initiated that interaction? The dog did. In my house, if a dog brings me a toy, I ignore them. I don't play with them. And what happens is that, after however long of a time, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, some dogs are really persistent. Like shepherds, they might shove the ball in your crotch. They might try to nudge you. You ignore it as soon as they disconnect. And what I mean by disconnect is they're trying to get you to play. As soon as they move away and disconnect, right? Then you call them to you and you engage. You get the toy, you call them back to you, make them sit, and then engage in play, whether it's tug or fetch or whatever. If it's tug, have a nice game of tug. Make sure you have an out. I say out. Most people say drop it. I use the out command for drop it. Make sure you have an out command so you can control play. And you tug a little, give the out command, they release, make them sit, re-engage, tug a little, give them the out command, make them sit, re-engage, and you do that. And then when you're done, when you want to end play, give them one more out, make them sit, give them the toy back, and then walk away. And why I recommend we do that is we don't want the out or drop it command to be associated with deprivation. I don't want my dogs to think they're deprived of the resource because I gave them the out command, right? That's why I always finish play with them having the toy. As long as they drop it, they sit, I give it back, and then I walk away. The reason being is at some point in your life, most people their dogs are going to have something in their mouth that they shouldn't. So we want that out command to be reliable. Thank you for the gifts and all that stuff. I appreciate it. We want that out to be reliable. So when we do need them to respond to it, it's not associated with deprivation. It's associated with more, right? Because they're always getting it back. Some people like the substitution method of giving me drop it, giving me a treat, and then walking away with the toy. That's fine too, as long as they're getting something, right? Because we're going to need that reliable out command at some point. So I believe leaders initiate. I believe that leaders start and end play. I don't think dogs should be pushy. For multi-dog households, I've always had a rule, especially when bringing in a new dog. If I am petting one of my dogs and the other one comes over and butts in or attempts to come or they're approaching, I correct them. And I don't mean physical. Sometimes I got to, push their chest a little bit when they're starting to learn because they don't understand what I mean. But usually my energy is enough for them to understand to hold their place, right? I don't allow them to interrupt when I'm petting one of the dogs because who the hell are they to interrupt my conversation? Who the hell are they to interrupt a social interaction with two other members of the family? It just doesn't fly here. Now, keep in mind, I'm a trainer, but I've had dogs that got into scuffles and fights. It happens. Nobody's immune from that. You don't, especially if you have young dogs that are maturing together. At some point, they're going to mature and start feeling their oats, and they get into things. So when I'm strict in this regard, there's a lot of reasons for it. Harmony is certainly one of them. Now, that doesn't mean that I can't call them all over and pet them and invite them all. But I want to dictate those interactions. And that's just another way that we can spoil or baby our pets, so to speak, because it's on our terms. They are not dictating the terms of our interactions. So that's why one primary reason why I want to talk about this on this live was because, and I don't know what other dog trainers are like, I'm sure most of them are pretty strict with their dogs initially, but, I don't have working dogs. I don't do shows. I don't do competition. They're my pets, and they're all adopted. They're all rescues. So, most of them have shitty lives before they get here. But I don't let that cloud my judgment when I'm teaching them the rules and the structure of our daily lives. That's more important to them because I always say this when it comes to rescuing, right? We have to forget about their past and focus on their now and their future. That doesn't mean that we're going to completely forget their past and what they went through because some of that stuff, if we know it, might be handy. Like if there's any resource guarding and things like that. But dogs are here and now, so I want to be here and now with them, right? And while I understand their past was sketchy, the best thing I could do for their future is focus on right now, always. So that's why I'm a big believer in these things, and the structure of this stuff is, again, resource control. Nothing in life is free. Whatever you want to call it, start making your dogs earn everything in in their lives. And this is the hard part people don't understand is all this stuff I'm talking about, food, treats, affection, playtime, even food is a privilege. It is not a right in in the dog world, right? If we're dogs. Now, we know we're feeding our dogs. We're not going to deprive them of food, right? Like if your dog doesn't know sit, for instance, let's just say you adopt a new dog and it doesn't know sit. You're not going to deprive the dog of food. Of course, you're going to feed him because the dog doesn't know sit yet. Once the dog knows their obedience commands and tricks or whatever you do in with training your dog, those are the things we're going to utilize to make them earn their keep. I'm by no means am I suggesting that if the dog doesn't sit, you're not going to feed them, because that's a crappy leader, right? But once your dog knows, all your dog needs to know is come and sit. Even if you just have come and sit in your house, you can make them earn their stuff. So, but yeah, so at the end of the day, make them earn everything. Leaders initiate all interactions. We start, we end play. We initiate affection. They have to earn it. If they're allowed on the couch, that's fine. If they jump up on their own, get them off. Make them sit. Come on up. Good girl, good boy. So literally in the matter of 2 seconds, you're still technically spoiling them. It's just on our terms, not their terms. That's it. So that was for Gen XT. I know it was a little longer than people may have expected, but it's an important topic because, like, if people do anything, like, you don't have to train your dog every day. But if you implement resource control, it doesn't take any time out of your schedule. It doesn't impact your schedule at all, and you are training your dog every day. So. All right, so let me go back. Hopefully, I don't. Let me go back to questions. I'm just going to scroll first one I see. Hi, Kaisha, and welcome. All right, missing link. What does your daily training look like? What do you work on? Okay, so when a dog first gets to me, and I'll talk about my own pets because the homeless dogs that are here for my enrichment program, that's a little different because each dog has different behaviors and stuff that they need work on. But I'll just go through my daily training and what I tell people. Like when I visit people's homes and I do private training with them, their homework is that every single person in the household has to have 3 training sessions every day with each dog if there's multiple dogs in the household. And each session should be, and this is all contingent on the dogs knowing something, sit down, come, whatever. Even if it's just sit down, come, for instance, right? And if I go to someone's home, they're going to know at least those 3 before I leave. Honestly, anybody can teach a dog sit down and come. It shouldn't take, generally speaking, you could shape the foundation behaviors of come, sit, and down in like 10 minutes. The exceptions to that are, dogs that maybe aren't food motivated or they're newly adopted and we don't know what motivates them yet. It might take a few minutes to figure out what's going to motivate them. But generally, we have 3 training sessions every day, about 60 seconds to 2 minutes long each session. So real quick hits scattered throughout the day. So for argument's sake, morning, afternoon, and nighttime, we have a quick session with the dogs. And that's for every person in the household because every person needs to develop an individual relationship with the dog. And we do that by working them. It gets their mind going. It's fun. There's usually food involved. So it's a really good relationship building endeavor as well. So the 3 mini training sessions a day in conjunction with resource control is the core of what I want everyone to do. If people want to have a longer session, I always prefer the longer session to be a play training session because now you're killing 2 birds with 1 stone, right? You're stimulating them mentally and physically, and you can go a little longer provided weather isn't an issue. So that's kind of the crux. And then obviously daily walks. I am a huge proponent of daily walks. Now, some people don't walk their dogs every day and it's not an issue. If you have a dog that has any kind of behavioral issue or a reliability issue or you have a relationship disconnect with your dog, You absolutely have to walk your dog. And I don't care if your dog doesn't know how to walk. It's okay initially. Get that dog walking, especially right now in the summer months. Even if you have a real big puller, the second half of the walk, they ain't going to be pulling that much, right? Get your dog walking. Obviously, teaching them how to walk more appropriately is good. Whether you teach them, you do a lot of food luring, or you do some kind of walking aid, like whether it's a slip lead, a martingale, a star mark, a harness, whatever you need to do to get the walk manageable, you got to walk them every day. Let me scroll up, see if I missed anyone. Oh, welcome Suzette. Okay. So that's kind of missing. Like that's kind of the core of my. Oh, welcome Suzette. Okay.